It is still the offseason, and I just feel like we have to talk about this. Every time I see somebody post like random highlights of a certain player, it's always met with, you know, just bad energy. And that might be social media in general, but I feel like it's more than that. You know, when somebody just had it going a certain night and they just like posted somebody or they scored a certain amount of points, they're always met with, oh, he doesn't have a ring. Oh, he did this. He failed at this time. He failed that year. And it's like we never sit back and appreciate the greatness. Whereas I feel like older generations, they always did that. They always said this player was a dog, like Grant Hill was a dog, this dude is a dog. And I feel like so many arguments just come down to rings, and they kind of forget the main point about basketball, where it's like, why are we using rings to determine somebody's individual greatness? We're using team success in favor of an individual. Does that make sense? Not really. I understand when you talk about the GOATs, but like it's always weird. I truly feel like this happened when Carmelo Anthony was with the Knicks, where, bro, Carmelo Anthony is an insane player. So much, and I feel like there's so much disrespect towards him, or you might be on that side where, okay, you respect his hoops. Yeah, he didn't win at the highest stage, but he was still an elite hooper. He did everything he could, possibly. See, I feel like a lot of people got it misconstrued that you gotta have that Kobe mentality at all times.
Be honest with you, I wasn't going at no fucking 4:30. That's too early.
He was talking about he was not getting up at 4 a.m. and people were like, oh yeah, that's why you didn't win a ring. Like, come on, bro. The dude made it in the NBA as a teenager. You tell me he doesn't have work ethic? He doesn't have that? But you have it, okay? I'm not about to hate on Kobe, right? Of course not. But I'm just saying, imagine if Kobe didn't win those rings and he was having those Mamba mentality type of speeches. Hypothetically, of course. You know, there's no disrespect. I'm saying, I would just imagine in my mind, like, would people just view him differently because they would be like, oh, you didn't win a ring? But it's like, there's so much more to basketball in general. It's not just rings. I don't know. It's always like after they're retired, it's like, oh, this dude was a certified buck. And it's like, okay, well, he didn't get no rings. This whole ring culture thing is just so dismissive of the entire skill that somebody puts into this to the game. It's actually crazy to think about. Like, people really would sit back and look at Damian Lillard highlights and then say, oh well, he doesn't have a ring. Oh, he doesn't play defense. Oh, he doesn't do this. And of course, yeah, you can criticize every play. Of course, there's no problem with that. It's just you're dismissing his other strengths and you're not appreciating what he's actually doing. This dude put up 70 points on disgusting efficiency. Yeah, it was against a bad team, but it's still an NBA team. Younger team too. Could never see it. Like, even with KD, even though I was one of those haters, like, don't get me wrong, he deserved a bit of a hate. You know, I don't like to spew hate against anybody, especially not somebody like KD, because he's a GOAT. He's one of the GOATs. But what he did with the Warriors, that was a weak move. Like, no matter what. The thing is, I feel like people would have accepted that move way more if you just didn't lose to them in that same season. I feel like there would have been a bit of less hate, because you still formed the greatest team of all time. But like, people would be like, okay, makes sense. He just wanted a different situation. That makes sense. We cool with that. But then the hate came in. It's like, oh, okay, well, you're this, you're that. And then it's like you were dismissing the basketball. And I was one of those because, bro, I did not want to see those Warriors teams. You know what I really liked KD was with Brooklyn. Because that's when he was like, okay, y'all gonna hate on me? Look what I'm doing. And then he put up beautiful stats when he was healthy with him and Kyrie and even James with those 16 games that they all played. Brooklyn KD, one of my favorite versions of KD. Because I was not really around when, you know, he was with OKC, and with the Warriors, I was just on the hate, right? That was just other side. But then he came with the Nets. It's like there's no reason to hate KD now. And the stuff that he does and is still doing, it's just so unappreciated. It's so insane. Especially, I feel like I noticed it with the Olympics. Because that's where we all sat back and was like, oh, hold on. Are we appreciating these players right now? When it's not just about rings? Like I said, I feel like that really started when Carmelo Anthony had his whole wave with the Knicks, and people said he was not working hard. And it's like, bro, it's Carmelo Anthony. The dude is working harder than most people. The fact that he didn't get a ring does not mean he doesn't work hard. I hate that narrative. It's such a weird narrative. You gotta be lucky to win rings. Guys, you have to be lucky. That's a real thing. And you gotta stay healthy. But I mean, healthy in 82 games, that just seems, it just doesn't make sense. I wish they would drop the regular season games just a little bit, just for the players at least to be healthy during playoff times, and we don't really gotta rely on luck. Who knows what could have happened? Who knows how Kawhi Leonard is viewed? Bro, people make up fake narratives now, because they really think they know what a player is going through. Physically. Or mentally even. Y'all telling me Kawhi Leonard doesn't want to play? Stop it, bro. This dude always wanted to play. This man suited up. I respect him so much because he probably knew that was the last chance he would get with PG. And he suited up even though he was definitely injured. I remember he did a dunk in like game 2 or 3. He hung on the rim for like 30 seconds. That was definitely a tech in the regular season. But the ref must have been like, hey, bro, I know you're injured. Do what you gotta do. All I want from people is, let's just put the accolades aside. Let's look at the dude who's playing basketball. Because I guarantee you, if you see somebody on the street and they're hooping, you're not gonna be like, yo, how many rings he got? Like, what? Or like when somebody does a song and you're like, ooh, that's a good song. How many hits he got? Like, what? It's so crazy to see like LeBron James, Steph Curry, and KD, they're still hooping insanely. And especially because the game is also evolving. It's getting harder and harder. It's not like the game has stayed the same pace since even the last 4 years. I didn't even think about that. See, that just popped in my head right now. They gotta adjust at the same time as the young people gotta adjust coming into the league and also making the game different. Wemby. I just don't like the ring discussions. That's really what this video was about. But it's also unappreciating greatness. Also James Harden. I didn't even mention him. James Harden gets disrespected like crazy. Like he did not go on that insane run. People are trying to rewrite history with current events. It's kind of like the recency bias thing, where it's like we're just kind of slowly forgetting what the people did just because they're slowly getting older, but he's still super efficient. James Harden, one of the best players in the playoffs for the Clippers. He's probably top 2. Him and Zubac, probably 1 and 2. PGs might be 3, and then Kawhi or Russ, I don't know. I also saw Paul George talk about that, where it's like every time he has like an off night or once he has an off night, the media kind of just bashes on him, just hates him. And I would understand that from people who don't play basketball, but he said it would be like the media, like retired NBA players talking down on somebody for having an off night, knowing damn well they themselves had an off night in some point of their careers. How is a retired NBA player going to hate on another current NBA player for having an off night? Actually, I do know the reason. It's because hate sells more than, you know, just giving somebody props, being like, yo, nah, he got it next game. He gonna score 30 points, but nah, it's just people want to see you hate on somebody, controversial, more clicks, more engagement, all that other stuff. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. But anyway, that's all I gotta say. You know, we're still in the off season, just a random video, but you know, I had to just mention something because this just kind of pissed me off, and I wanted to just talk about it. Hopefully, maybe somebody would watch this video and be like, okay, you know what, bro, let me just look at this player without having that, you know, in my back of my mind, like, okay, this dude has no rings, or like this dude failed in this playoffs. Like, yo, okay, y'all don't know what these players were going through. Kyrie even talked about it. He was like, yo, during that Celtics run, like, I was going through shit, bro. People don't want to hear that, bro. People just think, hey, bro, you play basketball, you have millions, you're happy. And it's like, okay, we're getting off topic. My bad, y'all. My bad. Anyway, I'll let y'all. I'm gonna see you on the next one. And do not forget, it is still Denver in 5.